He's the nice guy in the room. I'm not saying he's not tough or that he can't hold his own as good as anyone. I'm not saying he doesn't draw a hard line or show his teeth, because he's got teeth. He's got grit. But in some circles, you might say he's the most diplomatic guy in the Trump administration. I'm talking about Vice President J.D. Vance. That's why the president sent him to Tehran to sit at the negotiating table. J.D. Vance is a voice of reason. He's the guy who's going to do everything he can to get a deal. He's going to exhaust all possibilities. He's going to be the guy who comes to the table as a voice of reason. Here's what we want. Here's why we want it. This is why it's imperative you understand not only that, but also what's at stake. He's also the guy who can articulate the reality of the situation clearly, precisely. He's the guy who can say to Tehran, we know what you want, but here's why you can't have that. Here's why we can't let you have it. Here's why we won't let you have it. Here is what we're trying to avoid, but here's what must be done if all bets are off when I step back from this table. Trump's smart to do that because everyone is watching this whole Iran thing play out. The world, the Democrats, the American people. Sure, Vance is Trump by extension, and people are going to peg that on him to some degree. But behind closed doors, they also acknowledge Vance is not Trump. He's still going to draw that hard line, but he's going to talk a little more softly. He's going to use a little gentler language. He's going to leave out the fluff and flair. He's not going to pound his chest as hard. He's just going to tell it like it is, sort of like a dad looking out for his son's best interest. I love you, son, and I hear you, but here's why seeing the light is the best option you have. It's smart to send in a guy like Vance because with the world and everyone else watching, when Tehran says no, when they say they refuse to stop funding terror, that they're going to keep lining the pockets of Hezbollah, the Houthis, and Hamas, that they're going to keep their stranglehold on the Strait of Hormuz and keep extorting money for safe passage. When they say they're going to keep their uranium, they're going to keep enriching it to weapons grade, and they're going to arm nukes anyway despite everything. It sends everyone who's listening a clear message. Tehran isn't interested in peace. They're interested in power. They're not operating within the confines of national interest, what's best for their country or what's best for their people. They are reminding us that they are willing to strap bombs to their backs for what they perceive as a just cause. When Iran did say no, isn't that essentially what they did? Strap a big giant bomb on their back? That's what Trump wanted us to see, the real Iran, not the Iran so many people want to believe exists, but the real one. Because if the most diplomatic guy can't get Tehran to see the light and come to any real terms, he's opened the hood and let us see what's inside. He's letting us know that if you give Iran an inch, they'll take a countryside. And 20 minutes later, Trump said, we're taking this straight. And that's what we did. That's what we're doing. I've said this before, and I think the Trump administration has been clear about this from day one. We have clear goals here. We have clear objectives. It's not about trying to nation build or even occupy land. It's pretty simple. Stop pursuing nukes. If you don't, then we have to do what's necessary. And if that means taking out your infrastructure, crippling your defenses, and stopping the flow of money into your coffers to fund all the things that matter to you, then that's what we'll do. Sending in the most reasonable guy to get the job done isn't necessarily about getting the job done. It's about peeling back a layer and letting the world see that Iran is not serious about peace. They're not looking to save themselves. They're wanting to save face. They find value not necessarily in survival, but in martyrdom. That's a very dangerous thing. It's like a man who walks into a shopping mall on a suicide mission. He's going to bring his cause to bear down on you without any regard for what matters to anyone else. In their minds, the cause is much greater than the price. Now, we might send them back in. There's still hopes we can reach a deal here. There's still hopes Iran sees the light and comes to terms. Trump certainly wants that, a peace deal that works for everyone. Well, maybe not as much for Iran, but if a deal can be reached, at least Iran still stands a chance to rebuild something. Because I think Iran knows what's coming next. I think the world knows it too. Now, again, just to comfort the crazies out there, I'm not talking about the U.S. going nuclear here, but certainly we'll finish the job. We'll stop talking and just finish the job. And the world will know why it had to be done. They'll understand it better, the threat that was and the action that stopped it. Because when you've got a guy by the balls and he still won't cry uncle, there's something very diabolical about that. At the end of the day, what we were witness to in all of this is that Iran did not make an argument. They lost one. The ball is still in their court. They're just a lot farther from the basket. They may not have a chance to win the division, but they can at least chalk up a little win. Just enough to at least give the fans of the home team a smidgen of hope.